Could I ask you to do something for me?
Yeah, cool, yeah.
I mean, if you're not too busy at the moment.
Well, yeah, no worries, yeah, cool.
I'm about to go into a meeting in the meeting room.
Okay.
What I was thinking was, if you could wait a bit and then bring me in a coffee in about 10 minutes' time.
Okay, cool. A coffee?
Yes, from the machine.
Cool.
Actually, no, 5 minutes, actually.
Okay.
And that might be better.
Yeah, it's better, yeah.
Maybe a couple of biscuits or something,
Okay.
I mean, that would be great.
Okay, cool. So, what, like into the meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
No, you don't have to say anything. You don't have to knock or anything. You just bring it in and then go out again. That's all.
Yeah.
If that's okay.
And that is a clip from the new series 2026. Hugh Bonneville stars again as Ian Fletcher. Hugh, hello. How are you, sir?
Very good to talk to you again, Simon.
It's very nice to see you. I think I think the last time you were on the show was for Paddington in Peru. You were surrounded by ferns and jungle paraphernalia. So this is a lot. This is a lot calmer this time. So Ian Fletcher, back from 2012 and W1A. As Ian would have it, this is the kind of thing he would say. Take us on the journey that we're experiencing together on this series.
Well, once Ian had risen to the heights of head of values at the BBC, which unfortunately were eventually outsourced, so that he had to depart. He did have a patch with the National Obesity Institution, but that didn't really go anywhere. So he's now been after the very sudden departure of the Director of Integrity at FIFA. He's been parachuted in almost as his predecessor tried to parachute out, and so he's come into really a dead man's shoes, so to speak, and has got big shoes to fill to try and steer the team, the oversight team, towards the opening ceremony of the 2026 Football World Cup. I should say Soccer World Cup, because that could get confusing, bearing in mind that the three host nations are Mexico, Canada, and the USA,
yes.
who, if not yet at war, at least could be say sometimes are at loggerheads. So it's a very interesting path for Ian to navigate in this current climate.
Now, you mentioned the World Cup. And you mentioned FIFA. Now, I've seen the 2 episodes, and each time FIFA or the World Cup comes up, it's bleeped. From which I concluded that FIFA's lawyers have made it very clear that they don't want this to be the World Cup or FIFA.
Yes, I think there are certain parameters which I'm not entirely clear about. I mean, it's beyond Ian Fletcher's remit to understand these things. But yes. I think the over mentioning of the institution and indeed the whole tournament can get into murky waters. So I think probably the executives on the show decided it might be just easier to bleep everything.
Right. So it's FIFA adjacent. It's World Cup adjacent, but it's still a world tournament that's based in America, Mexico, and Canada.
Yes, you can't copyright that. So, it's a big old football tournament that's happening, opening on June the 10th. I think the opening ceremony is on June the 10th. So, with this, the cameras have been following the oversight team over several months leading up to this great opening ceremony.
It's a wonderful show and a memory about how painful the previous 2 have been. The joy of it for me is that the last one, W1A, I had to stop watching because it was too much like real life. Now it's exactly the same stuff, but now with international actors. So tell me about what it was like doing this show, written, of course, by John Morton, who's done and has written and produced all of these, but now working with American actors and Mexican actors, because it feels a very British show, which has now gone international.
Absolutely. And I mean, what we were blessed with was a team of actors who loved, luckily, 2012 and W1A. So they were absolutely up for it and knew John's style and his writing style and his directing style. What they hadn't quite anticipated was quite how hard it is to do, because every and is scripted, and the pace of the thing as we sit around these meeting room tables is quite relentless. Added to which, we were filming in probably the hottest part of last summer in a studio that wasn't designed to be a studio. It was a former printing press, and so air conditioning was a sort of foreign word, and we were just incredibly hot a lot of the time. So the pressure on those sort of meeting room scenes brought an added dimension. But the cast are wonderful. We became a very tight little team. We have Alexis, who's notionally from Belgium. He's actually French. and then we have a Canadian, we have two Americans, and we have a Mexican, and this really does add to the wonderful international, the international joke, if you like, of each country rooting for its own side.
Can you compare doing a scene for this show for 2026 and say doing Downton or any other TV show that you've done in terms of learning what you have to say, reacting to the other actors in your scene, and just getting through the thing? How does this compare with all of the others?
Well, it's a very different thing. I mean, in terms of the sort of energy of the thing, I always used to think of Downton Abbey as a stately galleon, and this is a sort of jet ski. It's whizzing around the bay at full pelt. It's probably definitely the hardest job I've ever done in terms of learning, because a lot of the dialogue doesn't make sense, and you are learning. There's a difference between yes, no, but, and but, no, yes. And the little ticks of character and the ticks of dialogue that John Morton is so brilliant at skewering. They're really quite hard to get into one's brain. So I was. I've been for some reason doing the show on and off for 15 years now, and in its 3 different incarnations, and it doesn't get any easier the older you get. Put it that way.